in ways none of us would have ever hoped to have had to be, that pain is real. It's not in any way, shape, or form not real, and that's why she's able to be so compassionate. Both things are true. So I would encourage anyone who is out there to really be willing to say, whatever the feelings that someone is experiencing at the time when things happen, just walk with them. God is big enough. He's big enough to handle those questions. He's big enough to handle every single moment, every single tear. But he never tells you not to experience that pain and feeling. If anything, we have the example that Jesus did have all of those feelings himself.
Okay, some of the people have found our new feed because I switched it over to my iPad, and it's okay. We're sideways on here, people. You're going to understand this one. It's just one of those crazy things that's going on today. Let's see if I flip it this way. Does it flip with me? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if it flips with me that way or if it's going to put you upside down.
Still, we're saying rotate your phone.
Well, we're upside down,
nope, you're good.
Which is where the plug goes. It looks okay to you, but it doesn't on the feed.
Oh, gotcha.
There we go. Okay. Here we go. Hey, folks, we're going to just do this the good old-fashioned way to get the rest of this done. Obviously, the enemy's not happy with what we're doing today because we are talking about having mercy and grace and forgiveness, the same kind that was extended to us. You're extending. Can you reflect more on how can you forgive? Because that's some of what people can't understand.
Oh, gosh. It reminds me of the woman who washed Jesus' feet with her tears.
Okay.
I just, we forgive much because we've been forgiven much.
Yes.
I believe that I know and I've experienced that forgiveness for myself. I'm human. I've made stupid mistakes and I've felt very far away from the Lord. And I know that I can't have peace unless have that close relationship with him. One thing that Capri and I were talking about before we came in here that she reminded me of, and it was a compliment, so I'm just repeating kind of what she said was, from the very beginning, and my husband could attest to this if he's listening, I want to feel, and I had 4 surgeries, so they gave me pain medication for those surgeries. I did not want to take any unless I absolutely had to because I didn't want to not feel. And I don't know if that's, I want to get, I look, and I know I can't get through it like labor, but I looked at it like when I was having babies, I just want to do whatever it takes to get the baby out. And it was a revelation. This isn't going to be over in 9 months. I'm going to have days where I'm barely surviving and I'm going to cry a lot. And then there's going to be days like today where I feel like the Lord's made me stronger. Sometimes I feel like he numbs, anesthetizes me a little bit to give me a break. I mean, I really feel like it's a grace that he gives me a break. So that forgiveness, I believe, is somewhat supernatural. And sometimes
of course
it's
it is.
But right now I believe it's supernatural with me. I haven't had to try to have mercy for him. I haven't had to work it up. I haven't had to, gosh, this is what the Lord brought me to do. It just has been, it's washed over me like a flood for this particular person.
Wow. And
that's how I can explain it.
That is great. I mean, it's really hard, when we come down to it, because I think we're going to put it back around this way. I think we see and we feel so much hate in the world today, be it anywhere, through different religions, all kinds of things, politics. We see hate all the time. And that makes it so hard because the world expects you to hate. Mm-hmm. Now, MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Drivers, mm-hmm. we're not very happy with this. And I noticed that went up on the page and you addressed it. Do you want to tell us anything about your connection, your relationship with them?
Oh, gosh. I just, I addressed it similar to what I'm addressing it now. It's like I just introduced myself as I'm Zach's mom. And I don't remember exactly what I said, but to the gist of I want restoration for this person. Nothing's going to bring my son back.
Yeah.
Nothing is going to feel good. Nothing is going to bring him back. And it makes me very uncomfortable. The hate, the negativity, that makes me very uncomfortable. I don't like it. It makes it hurt. It makes me feel like I'm hurting more, if that makes sense. It puts pressure.
Yes, it does.
I don't like it when people, I think sometimes people think if they come alongside and think them telling us that they're mad will make us feel better, like they're on our side. It doesn't really make me feel better. It just is a reminder that it's another negative thing. My son's not here. I know that. I know he's not going to come back. I know he's in heaven, which is a positive thing. I know he's happy and whole, and I know all of those things, but he's not here. And, he was a mama's boy. He called me every day. What you doing, Mom? I'm at work, honey. He would say the silliest things, well, can I come see you? And I don't get those anymore. I don't get those texts anymore. I don't get those big hugs. And can I just come and hang out, or can you make me a steak, or can you cook for me, or all of those things? I don't. So the negativity and the hate make me feel actually worse.
Yeah.
But I do think that, again, I'll just reiterate, I do think that there does need to be stricter consequences and laws. And I think that I do have a voice. But I wanted to also share before we are done that whatever child comes in my home, if I find out that I know my son, there was a situation where I needed to talk to a few parents, and I took them over to my son's picture, and I told them, I said, I don't ever want any other family to ever experience what I'm having to experience. And I want you to know how much you're loved. Please don't drink and drive. Please don't think that you are invincible or drive under the influence of anything, because there's more than just alcohol that you can drive, that is at play these days. And so everybody that comes into my home or talks to me, that I'm going to tell them the story of what the Lord has done for me and how much it hurts, because I don't want any other family to, not that I can stop everything, that God's in charge, but I want to do my part to really.
And that can be your part. That can be one of your parts.
Yeah.
Now, Susie, I know you and Zach had some things you did together.
Yes, we like to work out. So this is, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is his arm. So a friend of mine, Brian, did this tattoo for me in remembrance of him. But he was always so proud of me. He would show my pictures if I was in a bodybuilding competition. This is my mom, he just was.
We're talking real bodybuilders, guys. This is not just we go to the gym and work out together. These are real bodybuilders. Any pictures you put up of him, he is buffed as could be.
He's a buff kid. And he loved it. None of my other kids want to work out. I'm asked Gabe, and he's like, "No, that's weird to work out with you, Mom." So I'm like, "Well, Zach didn't care." Well, that was Zach. So we love to do that, and he just loved me to cook for him, and he loved to just come hang out. He just was he just wanted to be where I was. There were brief times where he moved where his dad was, but he wanted to come back. He was my protector. God's my protector, but he wanted to be that protection, that big, okay, I got you, Mom, if anything happens, I got you, and I'm like, okay, buddy. But so those are things that we would do together as much. Hey, Mom, will you work out with me? And so that's what we do in remembrance of him, is we work out because.
And you know what? How wonderful with teenagers, young 20-year-olds, the relationships are very estranged in most homes. You're going to find that's such a difficult time. And maybe when they hit 30, they grow up and they realize, oh yeah, Mom was right. And then they kind of treat you nice again. How precious of the Lord to give you those. What a gift.
It is a gift. And looking back now, I can see how he orchestrated all of that for me, because I do treasure that. And there was one, and people who are friends with me on Facebook have seen this, but it's been a big weekend. So one of my silent wishes, prayers, and there was only one other person besides Capri that probably knew that Lord, I would just like to do something in remembrance of him that he loved, which was bodybuilding and lifting weights. And he never got to compete. He always wanted to. And somebody that I know, name is Joe Daly, and he just out of the blue called me and said, "Hey, Susie, I'm putting on a show and we want to dedicate." And I wanted it to be on the weekend of his heavenversary. He didn't know. This was in January. He didn't know that was my prayer. He didn't know that was my wish. And he made a team, trophy in remembrance of Zachary Spoolstra. And
I've seen it up on
that.
Facebook.
Yeah, so that's, the Lord knows. The Lord knows those secret things that are going to help you through these things if you just lean into him. And I have to drown myself in worship music, and I listen to sermons. I listen to everything all day because I wouldn't be able to survive without it. To be
That's what
honest.
I was going to ask you next. How are you doing now? How do you keep yourself going?
So in the morning when I get ready, I'm listening to whatever may come up. It could be Joyce Meyer, Beth Moore, Stephen Furtick, Tucker Mail. It could be, whoever or songs. There's certain songs, and I'll find a song, and it changes. Stephen Curtis Chapman, early on in my grief process, was his songs, because he lost a daughter. His songs ministered to me, and I would just listen to the same one over and over and over again, and then it would change, and another one would just really speak to my heart. And I literally will just, when I'm working out, I'll just replay the same song. Right now, it's an elevation worship song. Do it again. The Lord's done it before. He's going to do it again. He's been there for me. He was there for me when I was in the closet. He was there for me when I lost my son, and he's going to be there for me.
Okay. And you know what? Okay. I agree with what Susie's saying here. I know the feeling where you have to immerse yourself in God's word, in worship, in all of that. But let me give you a heads up. Christian, don't wait till there's a tragedy to do it. Yeah. This is how we should be living our lives. Instead of wasting time doing stupid little things that don't amount to anything, don't wait for a tragedy to drive you to the cross. We need to live at the cross. We need to be there every day, every moment that we have. That's one thing at Calvary Chapel Eagle. We've been praying for revival. And that's the one thing the Lord's showing me. Then don't waste so much time. If you want your life to matter, don't waste time doing this or that. And we can excuse it like, oh, I'm so busy, which we are. I deserve, my time off, which I do. But what I choose to do with that time off should be uplifting and edifying myself. If I'm watching, depressing things, I'm going to be depressed. But if I have that uplifting time, like you said, worship is one of those things that lifts us up, above and beyond. Like, we got about a minute and a half left. Do you got any last words you would like to say?
I just have, the Lord's really encouraged me to reach out to other moms. I just have, there's been some close friends that have, another friend of mine's sister committed suicide. She was 13. I reached out to her mom. Wherever I go, I got a massage at the rec center. They were doing a little thing. I mentioned I lost my son. I just tried it. And she's like, well, I lost my brother. And I was like, well, how's your mama? And I just said, what's her name? And I said, I just tell her that she's got somebody that knows how she feels. Yeah. And I know how you feel because I've lost 3 brothers. And I gave her a hug and she started to cry. And I just try to share my story and encourage people along the way. And that fills my cup.
Yeah. I find that too, that the Lord uses it. You just have to be willing to mention it, become vulnerable, and the Lord will turn around and use it in the most unexpected places.
Yes.
So,
and I just want to thank everyone who's come alongside me and my family and my children and helped to lift me up. And I just, and I want to thank the Lord too, because obviously I wouldn't be sitting here if it weren't for him.
Oh,
and
definitely.
thank you for having me on here. And I just hope it blesses somebody that thinks they can't survive, that I've survived the unsurvivable.
Yeah.
And so have you.
Yeah, we have. Let me tell you, folks, until you've lost someone, you don't know what it's like. So don't pretend that you do. And it's okay to say you don't understand how somebody's feeling. That's an okay thing to do. That if you haven't been there, but once you've been there, it's part of your life. Mm-hmm. I just put this thing on my Facebook page, I think it was yesterday, and it was about, I don't ever get over it. It becomes part of me. It's made me who I am now. So, well, folks, there is the music. This is the end of our show. Susie, thank you for being here. Capri, thank you for being here. When I put this up on the webpage, I will try to merge it together and make it one message instead of two. God bless you. Mike will be back with me tomorrow.
If you'd like to know more